Lindsay Roberts has a Bachelor of Music degree in opera and vocal performance. She has played Sarah in Ragtime. She's played the role of Nala at Walt Disney World's Festival of the Lion King, and her New York City debut in the role of young women at New York City Center's Lost in the Stars. Lindsay recently made her Broadway national tour debut in the Tony Award-winning musical Memphis, covering the starring role of Felicia Farrell. Currently, she is covering the role of Clara on the Broadway first national tour of the Gershwins' Porgy and Bess, and I am over the moon delighted to be with Lindsay at the beautiful Academy of Music in Philadelphia, where Porgy and Bess is playing. I saw it last night, and it was as if you've performed it before. Have you?
Yes, sir. We are very fortunate in that on tour, we get to have an opening night every week in a new city. So as you all might be able to hear in the background, we have a sound check going. Some of our musicians are starting to play in the pit, and it's always very, very exciting, as I believe live theater always is. And it's just a really thrilling time, especially last night to open at this beautiful theater, the Academy of Music, in a city that I call home, Philadelphia.
Welcome back home. And I was in the audience last night. Were any of your family or friends in the audience?
I did. I had some friends. I think people keep sending me messages saying I'm coming this night, I'm coming this night, but the majority of my family and friends are going to show up in the middle of the week. So I'm thrilled. I think everyone in my life I know is coming.
I hope that Lindsay doesn't mind me saying this, everybody. She has the most expressive face. She has a gorgeous smile. She looks like she is so satisfied with where she is right now. And this is a brilliant cast. I mean, this is an old show. You'd think it would be tired and weathered, but everyone just comes together in it so beautifully. Do you feel that it's still relevant?
I definitely feel that it's relevant, especially this incarnation of the piece. Broadway's Porgy and Bess really started back in 1935 in the Broadway Theater, and it was then taken pretty much into the operatic realm. And with this piece here, we've taken it from a 4.5-hour opera into a 2.5-hour musical theater piece. And I think it's definitely relevant because of the story that we're telling. It's a classic American love story, and that is timeless.
And do you feel being part of this American classic, not only is it an American classic, but it's really a part of your African American heritage? I mean, it was the first show, if I'm not mistaken, that was performed just by an African American cast, wasn't it?
Yes, our cast, there's two members of the company who are not African American. They play the policeman, the detective. Other than that, the entire cast is African American, and I think it's just a really powerful statement, especially in today, because it's rare to see an entire company of African American classically trained opera singers who are also brilliant actors and brilliant dancers. It's very, very special. Beyond that, after this piece debuted on Broadway and did its first national tour back in 1936, the piece went abroad, and it became really an ambassador for Americans, American musical theater abroad. And so really, this piece is historically rooted around the world as kind of the first international relations with art and sharing of a musical theater, which is such a uniquely American art form.
Yeah. Now, you are very well spoken and you are very eloquent. The language is very much as African Americans were perceived to have spoken in the 30s,
Yes.
which is so out of character to the way that you're talking to me now. Does anyone feel angry that they're having to sing it like that?
I don't know that angry is the word. I think when it's done correctly and done with respect to the culture and into the time period, and within the context of the story, it makes sense. So this story takes place in the Gullah Islands off of the coast of South Carolina. And in the Gullah people really do have their own form of speech and dialect and language. That's different even from an African American from Midland, South Carolina, or anywhere else in the country. So there's that. And then also it was in the South in 1935. And it was DuBose Hayward's, the author, interpretation of what the sound sounded like. And it's hard, right? If I was to try and recreate your accent and write out the inflection of your voice, that's nearly impossible.
It's impossible, yeah.
Right. So what we've done with this piece, and it's funny to even see the progression, because when I first got the audition sides, it had that language, right? And I think in our minds that puts something extra on it. Really, our goal is to tell a beautiful story. So they took all of that out in the book, and they just wrote the text as American Standard English. And then we as the actors, it's our job to do the homework on the historical context of the piece and infuse the inflection. So I think when you do it from that point of view, it's really just intelligent and respectful to the piece and the context of the story.
So you were in fact encouraged to be your own, or told to be your own dramaturgs.
Oh, absolutely. Now we do have a dramaturg on this piece, but as an actor, you must respect the craft, right? And part of that is doing your homework.
Yeah, of course.
And to approach this piece with anything less than the utmost respect for the traditions of the Gullah people would be awful. So absolutely, we must. And we had dialect coaches come in, because there's even differences between Southern dialect now and Southern dialect in the 1930s. And like I was saying, the Gullah people and any other general Southern dialect.
Yeah. I know you're a close community of actors, of friends now traveling around, yet every night you have to be aggressive with one another,
right,
and learning to fall in love with one another again. Is that difficult, knowing the person so well you're rediscovering every night?
I think it's exciting. Ultimately, we are just putting real life up on stage for real people to watch from the audience. So our interactions off stage or at lunch or after the show inform our interactions on stage. And as we as a cast grow together, the show grows and it becomes even more lively and even truer to just real life. Alvin Crawford, he plays Crown, the villain, is the sweetest man.
Oh, I could see that. We shouldn't tell people, but I could see that at the curtain call. He seemed like he's a funny guy.
Oh, he is a wonderful man, and I actually met him doing Lost in the Stars and with a number of my castmates. Actually, we've come back to this piece together, and so, like, once again, respect for the craft, being true to the story. On stage, he's a different Alvin.
Yeah.
He's not Alvin. He's Crown, right?
And then he becomes a
exactly. And so I have to treat him as such, and have a real reaction, not like he's the villain, so I'm just mad at him. Like even him, he's a human. He gets up every morning and goes to bed every night. He eats 3 meals a day. So we have to find the humanity in it, and that's where I think we're really able to capture real life on stage.
Yeah. And you have one of the most arduous tasks, because you are listed in the program as swing.
Yes.
And swing doesn't mean that you're being pushed back and forth on a swing. It means that you have to learn, 4 roles more?
I'm actually responsible for 6 roles. So as a swing, my job is to cover all of the women in the ensemble, which means that I need to know all of their staging, their lines, their vocal part. So that's 5 roles. And then I also understudy the role of Clara, the young mother who opens the show singing Summertime. It's a challenge. And we are the ones who really hold the show together. If someone's sick, if someone has a vacation day, a personal day, just like any other regular job, we're the ones who have to step in. So I have different costumes, different wigs, and it's our job to really be the historians, the bookkeepers of the show, so that when we step into it, it's as if there was nothing different.
So you have to know everyone's role. You have to know the entire script, the entire score.
Yeah.
There aren't too many musicals where every single number is so well known. And it opens, which surprised me because I haven't seen it before, it opens with probably one of the most famous songs on the planet.
Yes.
it opens with Summertime.
Yes.
How emotional is that for somebody to come out and sing a song that they know the audience is so waiting to hear?
It's funny because as soon as the song starts and people realize it's summertime, you hear like a through the audience. Summertime, the most recorded song in history. Huge, huge, huge shoes to fill singing that song. It starts out in the piece, not to give the audience listening too much, but it starts out as a lullaby. And what makes this Summertime different than Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong's duet, those were beautiful concert performances. This really takes it back to the essence of a lullaby, singing it to a newborn. It always comes back to the story. That's something Diane Paulus, our amazing director, really instilled in us. It always comes back to the story. I remember her working with Denisha Ballou, who plays our Serena. She sings My Man's Gone Now. And we were in rehearsal, and Diane said, wait. This isn't just like we come up and we stand and we sing our huge, big, famous song. No. Where's the truth in that? Where's the pain in that? Where's the joy in that? And so we have to go back and look at these huge songs that we, even as, I love Summertime. I know in Summertime many years.
You have to rein it in, and you have to do it from the heart.
It has to be a lullaby to this baby. It can't be I'm singing this huge, amazing, epic song.
Right. I have to ask something about you, because we've spoken about the performance of the show. Why did you feel a need to go to Ghana to teach kids there how to perform? What was the connection with Ghana?
It's so interesting. I can only say that for some reason, going to Ghana has always been in my heart to teach. And I have some family friends who are from Ghana, and their mother founded a school called the St. Martin de Porres School. And I've been invited, and I was always busy with shows and all these different things. And last year when I was touring with Memphis, I thought, you will never just have the time to go to Ghana. That's something you make the time for. And as soon as the tour ended, I packed my stuff up. I brought my mother with me, and I went to Ghana for a month-long theater intensive where we ended up, I was working with the staff, the students, to produce the school's first musical, which was a Ghanaian adaptation of Cinderella. Such a special, transformative, life-changing event. I've always believed that this art form should be used for something more than just entertainment, although that is very important. But I think that the arts have the ability to heal and to serve and to bring joy. And so for me, I'm equally as passionate about arts education and access to arts education as I am about being the artist on stage. And so as I move forward in this career, I'm really looking forward to kind of bringing this performing arts training program and model to the international markets as well. So that was kind of a pilot for some dreams that I've had in my heart. And
it's brilliant.
It was wonderful.
That really is beautiful. We have an audience listening to this all over the world and all over the United States. They're not going to be able to see you here in Philly. This ends in 2 days on Sunday. So why don't you give them an idea where you are rolling into, so after they have heard this, they'll say, oh yeah, gotta see her. We heard her.
Absolutely. Well, our next stop is Pittsburgh, and then we are going to Detroit. We're going to Buffalo, New York. We're going kind of back to the Detroit area in East Lansing. We're going to be in St. Paul, Minneapolis. We'll be in LA for 6 weeks.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll be great. We're going to be in Seattle for 3 weeks, North Carolina, in Charlotte. And
I'm exhausted.
yeah, it's a long tour.
This is a workout every night.
This is a job.
This
I
is
think
a
people
real
forget
job.
that.
This is a big job. Once they see
Yes.
this performance, and it's a big company. So the best way for them to find out about this
Yes.
is to, what's the website?
You can go to www.porgyandbestthemusical.com, and that is where you can find our full schedule, ticketing, study guides, all kinds of information, cast bios, pictures, videos, everything.
And more important than that, give them your website.
Oh, okay. Well, I am at lindsayroberts.com, and that's LINDSAY lindsayroberts.com.
Well, you are going to, if you haven't already, see this smiley face that I'm going to be hugging on our webpage alongside the information about the show. I hope you break many legs over the next couple of months.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Lindsay, you are such a delight. Will you still talk to me when you are a absolute mega ginormous star?
I'll always talk to you. This has been great.
Thank you so much.